Hey, I'm Dana and this is my MS diagnosis story. I was diagnosed with MS in 2019, and during that time, me and my family were coming back from vacation. We were in Hawaii on a family trip. So came back, same as usual, woke up the following morning and my left hand was tingly. It was really weird because the tingles on my fingertips. And initially I thought maybe I just kind of like slept on it wrong, pinched a nerve. That happens as you age, but that was not the case. So I wanted to self-help and initially saw like a massage, deep tissue massage lady to see if she can kind of like work out the kinks in my shoulder area, because I was thinking that the tingling was stemming from my neck area because I had a pinched nerve right here is what I initially thought. So doing that didn't help. And then the next step was me trying to just mitigate my stress, because then also during that time I was going through a really bad divorce and that wasn't very nice. Anyway, after a month of trying to self-diagnose and nothing was working, that's when I finally decided to go see a doctor. I sought out my primary and then I was telling them exactly what was going on as far as like the tingling on my left hand. And then they then recommended that I see like a nerve specialist. So what we ended up doing was they connected like these little electric currents on my arm just to see if the nerves were connecting properly. And once we got the results back from that, and with no findings, they then sent me out to a neurologist. So now with the neurologist, we ended up doing an MRI and then just waited for that to come back. And then when that did come back, MRI findings told them that I had some lesions in my brain, and then, lesions, right? Everyone thinks lesions, MS. So then from there, we did some blood work, and I guess like there were some abnormalities. I would have to like pull up all that documents, or I guess like, like the blood work testing that I've done in that phase in my life, just to see what exactly they tested for. But the findings turns out that there was something up with me. Something was abnormal. And then of course, the next step was like having a spinal tap. And if you know, that was not very fun. So after receiving the spinal tap results, it showed that apparently there were some abnormalities in that. And then from what my doctor, my neurologist gathered, just looking at my MRI results with my blood work and now the spinal fluid, she concluded that the diagnosis was me having MS. So yeah, that was fun. And after diagnosis now, we were trying to get me on some sort of medication, right? Just to help slow the progression is what they like to say a lot. So I was put on Gilenya, and being on Gilenya now, there are some very fun tests that you have to jump through the hoops before being placed on that medication. But yeah, that's a totally different video that I can film pertaining to that. And again, this is initially how I was diagnosed in a nutshell. The short version of how I was diagnosed, and of course like with each segment of the diagnosis, I would like to elaborate some more on like the steps that I took and what was done to me and whatnot, just because it's a lot, if you're being diagnosed with MS, you run through the ringer as far as what they're looking for, what they're testing for, how many different doctors you're seeing just to get an answer for this one thing. So it's a lot. But if you're interested in following my journey as far as what I do to maintain my lifestyle with my mind and body practices, just hit the subscribe button and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.